Welcome to Before the Bid, your connection to some of the world's best livestock sales. Stay tuned as your host, Andy Howe, takes you coast to coast, stopping along the way to talk with producers about their operation, their livestock, and of course, their upcoming sales. Let's get to it.
Welcome, livestock friends, to this edition of Before the Bid podcast. And on this one, we came up to West Lafayette here as we did last year and spent the day up here at the place that we're going to talk about today. And as I said, we're up here at West Lafayette, and we're going to talk to a guy that has been around this Angus business for quite a while and came through with his dad. His dad was a professor at Purdue University and taught veterinary science in there at Purdue. So, guy's been around the cattle industry a long time, and a guy that we enjoy running up and down the road with whenever we can and showing with, and just a guy that you really need to get in with here if you are in the Angus business in any way, or even the Simmental business in any way, and you've got young people that want to show these animals why this is a great crew to get into. So I know personally we really enjoy this crew. So we came back up here to West Lafayette. We've been through the cattle, and we're going to talk about those here on this podcast. I have, again, another return guest and a guy that supports us quite well. Got Joe Horstman here for this one, and he is going to have a sale, and it is going to be at the farm here in West Lafayette. It's going to be October 1st, and that is on a Saturday night, and it is going to start at 6:30 p.m. sharp, is what it says right there on the catalog. So, Joe, welcome to the podcast, and, man, we appreciate you hosting us today.
Well, I appreciate you all coming up and being repeat customers and meticulously going through all the cattle today. You didn't just buzz through them, and appreciate that greatly. So you were studying.
We needed something for you to do today, you know?
That's right. That's all I had to do today, honestly. So sale season.
Right. Well, we sure appreciate it. Joe, tell us a little bit, if maybe they haven't heard yours before, tell us a little bit about what goes on there at the farm and who's involved there at the operation and kind of what they do, because you got a great crew.
Oh, it's a people business. The cattle are kind of the byproduct, and it starts at the top with Dad, and then this is our 12th sale. And when we contemplated the idea of having a sale, he said, well, we're going to do things right. We're going to test our cattle. He says, I've spent a career cleaning up other people's messes. So, we BVD test, we whole herd Yonis test. It's one of those things where, again, it's little things right, and again, it starts with Dad. So as far as just producing these pregnancies, getting cattle bred, and then getting them on the ground alive and good health, that's kind of starts with him. And then we were fortunate enough to get to hire Brad Paetzel a couple years ago, and I mean, what a breath of fresh air. I mean, Brad's work ethic is second to none. He cares.
Right.
He just sincerely cares. Pulls in the morning, Kubota's fired up. He drives through the cow herd, works all morning before he goes to lunch, drives through the cow herd, works all afternoon before he goes home, drives through the cow herd.
Right.
So we know if anything's in heat, we know if there's an eye watering, we know if there's one with a snotty nose, and if he finds one in the evening, he knows it wasn't that way in the morning.
Right.
Our breeding sequence is up. When we're preg checking, we'll preg check all the time. We have the fortune of having Dad pull into the driveway at least twice a day, and we're
Right.
preg checking once a week. And we're not palpating cows with CLs anymore. If we know they're open, Brad's finding them open. And so we're moving things up. We're not missing days, and it shows. And so next year's calf crop should be exciting as well. Just good things going on from that standpoint. And he's good with kids. He's good with customers.
Right.
So that's a bonus. And then we've had the great fortune of working with Claire Brown for years, and there's a long relationship there with her family and ours. And, her mom worked for Dad for 17 years at Purdue, was Dad's technician, and on Claire's birthday, every year Dad reminds her of her mom going out behind the barn because she didn't feel well and she was pregnant for Claire. So, yeah. So I bet she loves that story every time. But, history repeats itself. So, but no, Claire's been wonderful. She's finishing her junior career. But, there's some people that come back and buy cattle from us because of Claire. And don't
Right.
think for a minute that we don't appreciate and acknowledge that. She's taken too many credit hours this semester and had to scale back a little bit on when she could work during the week. And she misses it, I know, but I was hoping she'd either go to grad school or flunk out of school and stay here for her. So if this great thing doesn't work out, we might start a scholarship for her and see if we can't get her into grad school. But there's nothing wrong with a 7-year career at Purdue University. I can tell you that.
You're right. You're right.
Dad had one and I had one. The only difference is he got a doctorate for his. So we were both at Purdue for 7 years. I don't know what the big deal is, but
I was actually in 6 years and finished my last 3 at Purdue, and I don't have a doctorate degree either.
Exactly. So. But that's kind of the nuts and bolts of what we are and who we are. And, again, I told people that, every place you go and you get on any of these online services, everybody has cattle and everybody has really good cattle. We just have to differentiate why they'd want to come by. I believe it wholeheartedly that surround yourself with those kind of people like Dad and Brad and Claire, and it'll be a good situation. So
right. And it is. We know that firsthand. Absolutely is. And Brad and Claire, just great to get along with and great with the young people, and they want to help.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, that's what they want to do.
Claire gets hangry on occasion. And go take care of that. But that's just fine because she cares. But,
right.
Yeah.
And we got to give you credit as well, because if there's a nationwide uncle for juniors, it's Uncle Joe Horstman. Just the way that you interact with them and just the things that you do for them, and you are, just a great Uncle Joe for everybody.
It's supposed to be fun, but they're supposed to learn something. I go back to kind of my coaching days, and, I always tell those kids before they hit the ring, go have fun. And if they mess up, I find the right time to tell them. It's not right away, and you don't jerk one out of there, and you don't do anything in front of them. But, but I'm always quick to praise them, and then you wait a little while. And I consider it kind of locker room talk when it's time to say, hey, you might change this.
Right.
And there's no point in showing a kid up. But, again, we're competing with soccer, baseball, going to the lake. This is an activity that's supposed to be fun.
Right.
And, for some, they're not full-time cattle operations. Let's face it, we're in the Midwest. The state of Indiana, the average cow herd size is 19 head.
Right.
And very few people in the state of Indiana make a living from the cattle business.
Right.
But you're going to spend the rest of your life learning from people. So if you can do that with this project, then what a great opportunity. And much negativity as we have out there, why not make this a pleasurable experience for the kids, for the families, for the parents, and, again, let them have fun. But we're competing with all the entertainment and, again, all the teaching instruments there are out there. So, that's just part of the whole experience.
Right, and you guys do such a good job of that.
Thank you.
I know a lot of us appreciate it, and along that line, things like Beef Congress and things like Louisville and Oklahoma City and the places that you go and take those cattle, you just invite those families to come right along with you.
You have to, and yeah, sure, we'd like to just sell these and move on, but if we don't give that service, somebody else will.
Right.
And that's part of what they're buying. So it's an experience. Yeah, the genetics are there, but, you're buying an experience and you're buying a project on the show heifer end. But then, again, we've got repeat customers on the cow side, and, we'll sell a handful of bulls and some things like that. So the genetics are there too.
Right.
But we're not just a day camp for kids.
Right.
So,
You're exactly right.
We do have some cattle too. So, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Right, and you do have some other business into this thing and do a very good job of that as well. So, yeah, just can't say enough good things about the things that you guys do for customers and juniors and the whole program here in Indiana and nationwide as well.
Thank
you hosted Lee's conference last year. We talked about that just a little bit, and so the things like that you guys do as well.
We do have. We close proximity to Purdue University. We have groups come through here all the time. The FFA conventions in Indianapolis, so we get that opportunity to kind of open the doors. And let's face it, I enjoyed the coaching aspect of things, and Dad was an excellent teacher and did it for a lot of years. So he does kind of miss that aspect, and has taken some students under his wing still, even after he left in 2014. Had a great relationship with John Richardson, who's now a veterinarian and off working on his own and doing things, and took in another student this summer and kind of rode with him, and he enjoys that. And when we get those calls and requests for judging teams or different things like that to come through, if it'll fit our calendar, we'll most certainly do so. So that's part of it.
Judging teams as well.
We've
brought the judging team up this last spring, so all those things.
And I've reached out to a few of them, and we're going to have these cattle kind of up. We're going to have sale pens put together, and we have different shapes and sizes, and then with all these pens and everything kind of ready to go, we encourage people to stop by. Over the next month, we're going to have cattle in different categories, different ages, different stages, with sale pens and the ability to sort through them, and so we encourage all those groups to come in and stop by. So
right.
Absolutely.
He's mentioned coaching twice. Were you a speed and agility coach?
Yeah. Yeah.
weightlifting coach.
Yeah, no, yeah. So David
Cross-country
David
coach.
Bell was a second team All-American, I believe, and All Big Ten receiver. He did an internship with me last year. And I said, David, when we go out and meet clients, I said, let's just get this straight. This isn't an internship, but I'm your speed and agility coach this summer. And it really paid off because, he's an excellent NFL career and made it to the Browns. So.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, if you know Joe, always at the gym and always working out. So you guys have some marketing partners back again this year, and maybe one that came back in this year that wasn't here last year. If you would, just go through those real quick.
Yeah, so Dale Grubbs, again, brought us a really nice set of bred females. And Dale's a longtime friend of Dad's and a longtime client, but just a good Angus cattleman and breeds good Angus cattle and always has, and hosted a sale for years, so he knows what goes into it. He was an easy pick to say, hey, Dale, you want to come be part of this?
Right.
So brought us just a really high-quality set of bred heifers and bred cows, and fits a really good niche as to what we're looking for as far as to provide for everybody through Factory Direct. So Dale's been a wonderful partner and a wonderful friend, and so that's been tremendous. Lance and I have been friends for probably too long. And we don't tell all those stories because, but anyways, but Lance and I literally been friends since juniors, seniors in high school.
Yeah.
And so they've marketed cattle here before, brought us a really nice heifer, and we'll continue to do business with them. And Lance and Margaret have been good friends for a very long time. And then Woody Nichols brought us a really nice cow, and he and his dad have been longtime friends and customers. Woody brought us a tremendously bred cow. So Woody's quick to step in. Picture day comes around, and he had one cow to get pictured and videoed, and he stayed for the entire day and worked through all of them as if they were his own. And He'll be here, one of the first ones here to set up, and be one of the last ones to lead tear down. So appreciate Woody and his wife. Their little girls, they always send Dad a video on his birthday of them singing happy birthday, and they're just kind of Dad enjoys watching them, as you would know with your father, who likes watching those kids grow up as customers. So
right.
It's a good situation there. And I've told this story before. When I was at Harry's Chocolate Shop, Woody still pops up on my phone when he calls. It says Woody Harry's.
Woody Harry's.
He was a friendly doorman at Harry's. So we'll leave those stories off the air as well. So
making sure the chocolate is good, right?
Moving right along.
The chocolate is pretty good in there.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, I've heard that. Better mention these sale consultants here for the Factory Direct sale.
Yeah. If you look inside the cover, and if you have any trouble getting a catalog, just reach out to us. Again, it's a good group of people that are working on your behalf as well as ours, but they're going to represent those cattle, and they're going to make certain that you don't like the way that they're described or presented, that they're going to be another set of eyes and ears and a good representative of our program and the Factory Direct. So. But, good group, and you'll see those on the inside front cover, and there's a whole list of people that if you don't know any of them, call me, and I can probably steer you in the right direction, but different backgrounds and different clientele that they service. So.
Right. Yeah, different parts of the country
That's
as well.
That's right.
Coming
That's
in
right.
here. So.
That's right.
Right. So we got the Factory Direct sale. It's going to be on Saturday, October the 1st, and cattle, they'll be available all day. Friday, the September 30th, they'll also be available there. So you can come and eat the complimentary meal there at 5 o'clock. Also have some refreshments as well going to start. And
One housekeeping note, a lot of you are familiar with our facility and where we are located. I-65 is just always a puzzle, and I know some people couldn't even attend the sale last year because they got hung up. But that being said, exit 178 is our exit there at the State Police Post by McDonald's there, 3 miles straight south of the farm. Chances are really good that exit's going to be completely closed.
Oh, wow.
Don't fret. It's not that big a deal. If you're not familiar with Lafayette, probably I don't advise you can take exit 175 and meander your way through, and if those of you that know the area, that'll be just fine. However, my suggestion is to continue north to 188, which would be the Brookston exit.
Okay.
And you'll just get off on that exit, go back to the east on State Road 18, and then come south. So it's really no big deal, and in the big scheme of things, it's very simple, and most of us have a GPS capability, and so you'll be able to be able to get there. It's not going to be that drastic of an issue, but it'll be fine. So,
right.
But yeah, 65 is always a challenge with all the construction, and there are no shoulders right now, so a simple fender bender could lead to a 4-hour backup.
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah, as we were coming up here today, it was like they've worked on this for 15 years
right.
and keep working on it all the time.
Yeah, we're the new Louisville. Orange barrels.
Right, all over the place. So, Joe, we want to just start in with this and start talking about some of these cattle going through this.
Yeah, we're going to start the sale off. We're just going to go through this in catalog order.
Right.
And so as you look and see, we're going to have an opportunity to sell 50 units of semen on Secret Society. And we really like what we see out of this bull. And you're going to get an opportunity to see some good daughters and then, again, a full sister. And there's been some full sisters in the past that have done quite well and look really good. And I think that you're going to find Secret Society is going to give you the flexibility to have, I've said it time and again, when having cattle with muscle is fashionable, again, we're going to be ready.
Right.
And this bull is lending to show that you can have them muscular, but they can still have a look about them. So that bull, we're going to offer 50 units of semen on him, but we're going to start the catalog in the book off with a full sister to him, and she's a powerhouse, but she's still really good looking. She conducts herself as a lady. She moves with grace and good out of her top and blends in and so we're really excited about that female and she's nothing new. We've had full sisters too in the past that, as you can see, and they're photoed with supporting pictures. But those heifers are tremendous in their own respect and have gone into production. And as you'll see, lot 1, supporting photo of 980G. Well, lo and behold, we bred that 980G to our other bull stack chips that we'll get to in a minute, and that comes in with the lot 2 heifer. Mm-hmm. And that heifer is she's established. She was reserved in her division at All-American Breeders' Fraternity this summer in the junior show, and then that was Claire's bred and owned that won her class at the National Junior Angus Show and the Bred and Owned Show. And we're going to sell that October female in her entirety. North American will be Claire's last junior show of her career. And so she'd like to be able to show that heifer in Louisville. So the sale's October the 1st, but we'd like to keep that heifer around, and we'll take her to the North American free of charge to the new owner, and we'll bring her home and even offer, after Thanksgiving or so, if they want her bred for September, we'll bring that heifer home and get her bred before she goes on to her new home. But that's a true testament right there. If you look, that heifer's a stacked chips out of Secret Society's full sister.
Right.
So the lot 2 heifer kind of shows a little bit about what's going on at our place since 2019.
Right.
So that has had a tendency to work. And then we swing over and we get right into that Luton heifer. And some people are saying, Luton, why are we still going back to Luton? And I loved the Lutons kind of his first go around, and you always wonder if they had enough to them. Mm-hmm. But man, they were pretty cattle, and they were attractive, and they were balanced, and they had a look to them. But as we went through there today, and you look at that heifer, she's really good and very feminine. But you wonder sometimes, you think she'll have enough to her, and then we hopped on the Kubota, and I went out and I showed your mother, and I said, I hope this clears that up.
Right. Because
that is a maternal sister to Secret Society, and her mother is a powerhouse.
Right.
And that's a cow in production. That's a cow that's just bone and foot and top and muscle and big back, but still looks like a cow.
Right.
And that should clear all that up.
Right.
So
yeah, I had to get out of the Kubota.
Yeah.
To go look at that one
right.
and follow her around just a little bit there.
Yeah. She's a beast.
Yeah.
And so I think there's a ton of show ring potential on the lot 3 heifer, but then again, when you're done with her, there's just limitless production potential in that female. So. And then we come into the lot 4 heifer, one of the most improved heifers. She's a Wrigley, but she's out of a really good power chip young cow. That 973G is a power chip out of 415, and you got to see 415 in the shot lot today. And
right.
I joke she's 18 years old, and she's going to stay at our house as long as she wants to, and she's been our high-income producing female, and she's been flushed a gazillion times. Unfortunately, she's not in production right now and not working. But she's going to stay there, and if nothing else, they'll probably let her vote in Illinois next year. She's 18. So.
You going to coach her on her when you take her over there, which way to vote?
Yeah, she knows. She knows. But, so 415, you're going to see 415 throughout this book, and 116, her mother, throughout this book, and every time Tom Burke sees me, the Black Cap Empress family, reside as well as in West Lafayette, and
Right.
a lot of it's through 415. So we get on into the 5A and the 5B, and you bought a 307A heifer last year, a daughter, and good friends and customers and Gregory Farms, and then Gary Woods bought in on the 307A cow there a couple years ago, and we have 2 express heifers that are, they've improved every single day. And that pedigree knows no stranger to our place, and so those are really nice females with a ton of potential. And then we go into lot 6 cow, and we're going to offer a flush on that cow, and you got to see her today with the calf at side.
Oh, yeah.
That flush will be available and ready the 1st of November, and that Lookout 415 pedigree, I mean, our first sale, we put up a white tent in the front yard and had our first factory direct there, and our lot 1 heifer and high-selling heifer was a Lookout at a 415. This cow is something else to see, doing a really nice job. Like I said, just had a really nice fall bull calf, but we're going to sell a flush on that female, and that flush will be available 1st of November. And there's umpteen opportunities. It doesn't necessarily have to be an Angus flush, it can be any breed,
Right.
bull of your choice, but there's an opportunity if you have a bull that you own that you'd like to, make famous. There's a pretty good cow that you can use. So all kinds of different flexibility and options on that cow. Unfortunately, lot 7 is out. She came back up open, so we're going to move right through that. The 647D cow, you're going to come in on the lot 9s, and 642D is a northern improvement. So let's work this backwards a little bit. We're going to talk the 9A and the 9B. 642D is on the bottom side of both those pedigrees, and that cow's the last 3 years has brought us front end show heifers and ultimately brood cows, and there was no difference this year. In fact, she had a natural calf by Primo, and we flushed that cow to Primo as well. And like I said, we bred her back that way. But these 2 heifers, I can't decide which one I like the best from day to day, and that's a good problem to have.
Right.
642D, when you go through the pasture, nice cow. Just a not really nice cow, but just kind of outbreeds herself all the time. And so when we work back and come back to the lot 8 is a full sister to 642D. That's where I'm going with that. And so 647D, we didn't picture because she raised a set of twin heifer calves by Secret Society. Right. And so, as a cow nursing twins, really nice functional cow in good rig, pregnant, due back, and ready to calve in April. She calved a little late this year, but she is due to Primo. And there's an opportunity to buy foundation genetics from us that as you look from lot 8, go over here and across the page to 9, you'll be able to see. And the only reason that we're selling 647D is the fact that we were able to keep 2 same-sex heifers out of Secret Society. They'd be double-bred empresses on those females. So there's an opportunity for somebody to come in and buy into those genetics that last 3 years, 642Ds put some of those top-end Angus heifers on that open list. So so that's good.
Right. I mean, she is a little thin, but
yeah.
Don't hate her because she's a little thin when she works that hard.
She's confirmed pregnant. She was bred AI one time and stuck and raised approximately 900 pounds of calf.
Right.
Probably more than that, with those 2 heifer calves. And so absolutely, look at it as an opportunity.
Right.
So take her home, a little compensatory gain, and look like a genius next year.
Right.
So, absolutely. Lot 10 heifer, smooth. I mean, that's everyone that comes through and they look at the lot 10 heifer, they just say, wow, that's a really smooth heifer. And she is high capacity, elegant, moves with ease and grace, really quiet. I mean, push her out of the way. And again, we're going to talk about some of these as we go through. The lot 1 heifer and this heifer were both shown at the Indiana State Fair. We used the Indiana State Fair new schedule that I encourage them to keep, but I don't know if they'll listen. We're going to use that opportunity. We use that opportunity to showcase some of our heifers.
Right.
And so quite a few of these heifers have already been shown. And those 2 females went to the Indiana State Fair. So this one is show broke.
Right.
Good project, good cow, but she'll show. I think that's going to be a tremendous bred and a tremendous 2-year-old. So interesting pedigree on that. The 606D, you can see the supporting photos there. She's no stranger to putting heifers in this sale, but 606D is a maternal sister to 415.
Right.
Had a tough go at it. Was born 2 weeks early in a snowdrift during a blizzard and got her feet frosted, got her nose frosted, and lost her ears.
Right.
But we call her lucky. She looks good. But, no, she does. I mean, every year she brings us one. And so it's a pretty well-bred female that is just smooth. And that's the comment. And probably I don't know what your notes say, but that's just kind of what everybody's called her. And a great acting, good project, and going to be a good bred and a good 2-year-old.
Right.
561C. Powerful cow.
Lot 11.
Yes, lot 11. Due up to calve to blacklist, sexed heifer semen. right at the first of the year. She is the dam of the Kathmandu Bull that we had and showed at Oklahoma City in that first year for that show. He won that March class and had a lot of fans. When we pick cows out for this sale, we pride ourselves in offering good cattle, and we get some customers that come back every year to buy cows. And it needs to hurt a little bit, I guess, when we sell these, and boy, this one's going to hurt. But she's a tremendous female, and that picture just kind of nails her, and you got to see her today.
Right, plenty of marks.
Very similar to the 506C, but a good representation of the Empress cow family and what they can do. So coming into stacked chips now, and again, we're going to sell 50 units of that bull as well. That bull has outperformed even my expectations. You know, we knew he was going to be calving ease. We knew he had a good look about him. He was outcrossed our Empress cows. But what I love about this calving ease bull is you don't look at his weaned calves and say, well, they have to be out of a calving ease bull. You know, They don't wean at 350 pounds. And from a management standpoint, we call it spring calving, but let's face it, in January and February, that's winter calving.
Right.
And when a lot of these Angus bulls that we call calving ease do so because they have a short gestation,
right,
and they're gaining 1.5 pounds a day in that last trimester, and all of a sudden they spit out a 55-pound calf in a snowdrift and a first calf heifer that you didn't know what she looked like when she's going to calve because she's never had a calf.
Right.
And that thing's 2 weeks early and it's in a snowdrift. Yeah, it's great. It's 55 pounds, but it's dead.
Right.
And from a management standpoint, I don't know how good that is because I've never been able to sell a dead one. When they don't go to term,
right,
they're not going to weigh 56 pounds and 57 pounds and 58 pounds or 600 pounds.
Right.
So where I'm going with that is these cattle go to term. They'll be 4 or 5 days early, or they'll calve on their due date, but they're going to weigh 70 to 85 pounds. Our largest one was, I think, 90 pounds, but that was out of a show heifer that was managed as a show heifer.
Right.
So good look, versatile, and an outcross to our Empress genetics. So we're really excited about that bull. And when you look at the lot 12 heifer, you'll see why.
Right, exactly.
She is cool. And you're not going to look at her and say, I bet that one's out of a calving ease bull. That one's out of a show bull. And good haired, good about her head and neck, just cocks off and walks around the pen like she owns the place. And so that's going to be a great testament. I hated to do it, but we had an opportunity to get a steer out of here. But we had a really good show steer out of stacked chips. Good haired, really good looking. But anytime you have a trailer and a check and a steer. So
he didn't go to Joe Blow from
No. But we had an opportunity to sell him. But that steer would have helped us sell semen when we give that opportunity on October the 1st. But
and look at lot 2 as well.
Absolutely.
I mean, you know, there's so many stacked chips in here that are so high quality and so good.
Yep, indeed. So then we come back over into the lot 13, and how I didn't skip the number 13, I don't know, but I didn't want to upset everybody by relotting the entire catalog. So I hate the number 13. I get that from my dad, but really nice heifer. Probably there's 2 or 3 in here that I keep on going back and forth on which one's the most improved. This is a really nice female that's bred back into that 017 cow family, and that goes back to 2182. And then the 851 heifer, if you recall, she was a $36,000 high seller from the 2018 sale. And I got to see some calves out of that 851F down at Chronics this summer. And that cow's doing a tremendous job. There's 2 express heifers out of that cow. So, again, after they're done showing, they do make cows. And that cow family is pretty rich and laden with the stories of that. And we go into 14 and 14B. And you spend a lot of time chasing these 2 around. And, again, the good problem is I don't know which one's the best.
Right. I don't know if I know.
Yeah. And, again, 2 tremendous females that are rich in that cow family and no strangers to bringing good ones to the sale. And if we're staying with these 017 ladies in the lot 15 heifer, that's a blacklist, a little powerful heifer. That another one that was part of that group that got exhibited. And I think that heifer is going to tremendous future. Then we're going to look in here in the lot 16. That heifer weaned a really nice calf this year. Was a little skinny at picture time, but there's an opportunity to own a full sister to the $36,000 heifer that really, I mean, there's people wearing out our driveway all the time on that heifer. And when she was class of 2018.
Right.
But 032H is a really nice bred. That's bred to our Tenacious Bull that we'll get to, and so that'll be a nice half-blood calf. We'll make available on October the 1st. Lot 17, I think that is going to be a really good testament to Secret Society.
Right.
On the bottom side is a totally different cow family that stems from our relationship with our good friend that we miss, especially around this time, because she was so excited to see how her cattle would progress. But Mary Patton, who's a dear friend to this family, that Lola cow, and, you even looked at that and said, wow, 9FB3 back there in that pedigree. But this is one of Lola's daughters. And 775E is on the bottom side of that pedigree. And I think we've got to check. We're probably going to have an error in that pedigree in the catalog, but that is a secret society heifer that has as much future from a show heifer standpoint as anything.
Absolutely.
And she's young, and we're going to have to project her out a little bit. But, man, she is high quality, and I think that is going to be a testament of what secret society can do as far as producing show heifers with a cow family behind them. As I discussed earlier, talking about, I don't know which one is the most improved. Man, this Sandman heifer is really nice, and out of a nice cow that we've acquired. But, I had 3 of those Sandman calves this year, and 2 of them are bulls, and this is the only female we had, and I wish they were all females because even the bull calves I liked.
Right.
So, that's a nice female. And then we talk again about if you're going to sell cows, it kind of needs a sting and it kind of needs to hurt. But to keep our customers happy and to keep the people that come in here year after year and buy cows for a nice price, and I don't mean by a nice price, good price. I don't want to think that we're going to overshoot anybody and outkick our coverage and scare everybody from coming here and trying to bid on October the 1st. But the 19 and the 20 cow are prime examples of young cows selling in their prime with cow families behind them and all kinds of opportunity. The 19, we acquired her for Barry Nowatzki's sale. That she show broke. She goes back to that good PVF donor, and she's due right at the first year to Sex Cadillac Ranch.
Right.
So feed her for 3 or 4 months, have a heifer calf, and see what happens, and let her write a chapter. And
she doesn't need a whole lot of feed, really.
No, not at all.
She's ready to go.
She is. She's in good rig and good. The S133 cow, I heard you give a couple wows on her, and that picture, they nailed her, and that's what that cow looks like. But out of a bull that we bought a package on, the clear-cut bull of Kyle's, really excited about what the potential there, but we're going to sell that cow, but we really got a taste of her abilities and capability. That's a good inside daughter that came from a good friend at Kyle Galooly. Another good boiler, another good cattleman. That cow, that's going to sting when we sell that one, but they kind of need to if you're going to keep people coming back, and they expect to come in and find cows like that in our sales. So,
right.
Then we're going to shift gears a little bit and get into a little different breed with the semis. And, boy, I was fortunate enough a few years ago to go to Trentapol's and buy a Serena daughter, and the 2-step out of Serena, the 7053. And, boy, she's done a whale of a job. And she keeps bringing us females that make the sale and high quality. And this one fits the bill, and fits right in with all the other Serenas that we've brought through Factory Direct. And this one, again, is really good-natured, really quiet. She was calf champion at the Indiana State Fair, so she already has a show under her belt, a good-looking female that we see all kinds of potential in. And then we're going to roll over and we're going to introduce Tenacious. And a lot of you have already seen Tenacious. We know the Lola cow family and the 314A cow. She raised that heifer that Jesse Cronick had that won the Georgia National. She was supreme overall female there. The 16-step. 314A, the mother of Tenacious. Her full sister wins Junior Nationals for Tanner Howie. That cow, we sold half interest to Tony Drock and his family a few years ago, and they've done well with their offering out of Lola. She goes back to Limestone's full sister to Lookout. The cow family's there. She's a 3/4 blood, if you're wondering how that goes about. And so then we're going to offer 50 units of semen on that bull. He won his division at the North American last year. He was grand overall bull at Dixie, Purebred Semi-Bull Show, and we're going to get him back going this fall and this winter. He's over at Stud right now, and we have that semen, and we're going to offer 2 full sisters. And you tell me which one's better between 22A and 22B.
Nah, I can't.
Okay?
I can't. They're really good.
So just sweep the ring and you won't be wrong.
There you go.
Really nice females. And to be purebred with that nice rib and tying back into that shoulder, to be level in that flank and have that kind of look and still be sound is a great opportunity.
You're going to offer both those females?
We're selling them both. Absolutely. Absolutely. I got a deal with Farm Credit, and they loan me money and I pay them back. Somebody asked me once who we own Tenacious with, and I said Farm Credit.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. Yeah, you would think most sales you go to, they'd keep one of those.
Yep. No, they're both for sale. With the way I look at it, that's an opportunity to either keep a good relationship with two families or establish another relationship with two families, because, I mean, those are really good females that have a lot of fun in them, and they're going to be cows, and we're going to hear stories out of those two 5, 6, 7 years from now, even after they're done showing them. So
absolutely.
We wheel back into lot 23, and we're going to go back to T94, and you guys are probably tired of me talking about T94, but, man, that half-blood cow did a tremendous job for us. And then now we have these daughters in production. You know, when we sold our semis in 19, it wasn't because we didn't like the semi business, because we didn't like owning 170 cows and trying to do it the way we were doing it.
Right.
Now that we've Brad there, we need to own more cows.
You know, and some of us benefited from that.
Yeah.
With you selling those.
Yeah, you got a good Adele daughter, didn't you?
Right.
Yeah. But T94 has those daughters. We still have 3 daughters in production. And I made the comment, you know, they were champions 15 years ago out of that T94 cow. And then also the heifer that wins Junior Nationals at the Simmental Classic this summer goes back to the T94 cow,
right.
The Mignon cow. So this is no different. You know, South Dakota State Fair champion 2 years ago goes back to the T94 cow.
Right.
So here's a female that gives you a great opportunity to tie into a cow family even after she's done showing. And then we're going to roll in, and you'll find these Adels, just good, solid cattle, purebreds. 955G is a bred female. You have an opportunity to buy some cows that we hand bred and use tenacious this year, and you're going to be able to have Lola and Adele on the same.
Oh, wow.
When we're looking at the lot 25, for that pregnant cow, you're going to be able to see Lola and Adele on the same registration paper. So, but you're a proud owner of an Adele daughter,
right?
And she's in her donor lot right now, and you're getting ready to load her up and take her home. But she has a County O heifer calf at side, and you guys should be pretty proud of that one. And that cow's in production. You just flushed her, and she's bred back and going home. And so the Adeles are good property. They're real good property.
And we got to see the Adele out there today, and Allie and Betty both picked her out and said, that's her. And
we were selling the cow in her entirety, and our good friend at Bo Slovic, and Bo is an Angus breeder that needs to satisfy bull customers, and decided that he wanted to be able to offer some half-bloods. And we were on YCC together in 2013, and so when we had that dispersal, he buys Adele and afterwards says, well, do you mind just keeping her and just sending me eggs? I just need embryos out of that cow. And I mean, that cow's been a part of the family here. There's a lot of photographers that enjoy her use as a picture pin dummy.
Right.
We had to set her on the sidelines this year on one day because Dad was set to flush her the next day, and he said, you can't use her in the picture pin until I get those eggs out. So, and it was a successful flush, and it goes on. And then we have this 057B cow. There's another good opportunity to buy a tremendous Simmental female that's royally bred. She's a steel force out of a full sibbed Uno Mas. And she's going to calve at a reasonable time to the Sam bull. And we know that, you know, the Sam availability is going to be somewhat limited. But there's a royally bred cow that the only reason that she made the sale is that we kept a nice Duke heifer, a really nice Duke heifer out of her that we're going to keep back and kind of run that program through and be able to offer those genetics on her. And then again, you're going to come in here and you're going to see Dale Grubbs is offering, and it is good Angus cow after good Angus cow. And Dale is not afraid to use really good proven bulls. You know, he'll tell you, and I heard him just have the conversation with Kyle Conley while he was here when we're talking about the Grubbs Copper Bull, the reference sire D down there, BC Balance. And those Balance cows were good. You know, he bought a part of that bull. And just, you know, generation after generation of good cow families and just good cattle in Dale's. And Dale is an honest man and brought us a really good set. And you're going to have an opportunity to buy from a proven cow man that's done it year after year. And then Woody's cow, Woody Nichols, the lot 37, Burn Baby Burn R34 was and still is one of the most popular pedigrees that the Simmental breed seen in quite some time. And I know that he's had a lot of success with her, and her ability to flush and produce embryos is the only reason that he's going to offer up that cow right now at this stage in her life. And then he's also going to offer 2 packages of embryos as well. So, you know, bid as long and hard as you can on the 37 cow. And, you know, I don't know, but if she gets out of what you think is a budget, you have an opportunity to buy 2 sets of eggs there. And then the 38 heifer is here for a couple reasons. You know, like I said, Lance and I have a long, long history of being good friends and enjoy each other's cattle and how they're bred and what they look like and how they're represented. But the Smiling Bob cow and what he did with her, that Foster Brothers cow that they had that brought her in as a lot of people weren't showing falls at the Indiana State Fair.
Right.
And, he's reserve grand with her as a calf, and then she's gone on and produced. And 090Y has spent a great deal of her time. That's the Smiling Bob cow. She spent a good deal of time at our place getting flushed, and that Eagle Scout daughter has been very productive for them. And I commend them and appreciate the fact that they used our bull, the Secret Society bull, on there, and that is a really nice key female. And that shows the versatility of Secret Society. And Tucker called this summer, and you don't need to ask him about the Snapchat of me falling into a creek when we're going to try to look at this heifer. Yeah. But anyways,
dedicated to get a good shot.
Yeah,
huh?
yeah. So we went to go look at this heifer this summer on a little herd visit over there. But Tucker was always high on her, and Tucker's doing a tremendous job down there. And he asked if they could sell her there, and I thought being out of that bull is a pretty good fit. So again, just friends taking care of friends, and when I say that, I'm not doing them any favors; they're doing us a favor.
Right.
And so I appreciate them for having the faith and sending her up, and she's on display at our house. And so I think it's a really deep set. The depth in here, and I talk about that a little bit in the opening letter. There is a testimony to everybody else. Between Dad and Brad and Claire, that's the depth of this offering is exciting. So I think there's a little bit of something for everyone in here. So.
Yeah, absolutely, and a good time, a good sale, a good host, and like we mentioned way back earlier at the start of this thing, it's not just you guys load them up sale night and go home, and we'll talk to you next time when sale time comes around. It's a relationship, and and it's a keeping up with those guys or helping those customers, or if you want to call marketing partners or whatever it might be, that they come and buy those livestock. You guys just stick with them. I know firsthand the things that we've learned, maybe not through you guys, but even through who helped you guys.
Sure, absolutely.
We run around with those guys and watch guys like Neil Thompson and Jared Bain, and just to mention a couple of them.
Right.
Watch those guys get cattle ready and get some of the knowledge from those guys and just being around those guys.
Hire people that are really good at what they do and stay out of their way.
Right.
And they're tremendous friends and very talented people, and they treat our customers well.
Right.
And they're kids with respect, their parents with respect, and they're fun people to be around. And again, it's genetics, it's cattle breeding, but at the same time, when there's youth involved, this is an entire program that's involved in entertainment, and then it's also involved in just life lessons.
Right.
And so, we try to make certain that we address all those points. So.
Right. Again, the factory direct sale. It is October 1st, starts at 6:30 sharp. Be here for the meal and be here for some refreshments. And, Joe, anything else we need to know about this sale, about these cattle, about services, anything like that?
I think that about covers it. I appreciate y'all doing this, and have had great response from using your podcast, and appreciate this platform. Some people have asked me about it. I said, it's a tremendous opportunity to do something where you can interact and talk to the people, and it's a file that you can distribute.
Right.
And so I appreciate and applaud you for doing it. And, again, it's just another opportunity to touch base with people and make them realize that it is people business. And you'll put a little character to your footnotes. And
right.
Put a little emphasis in just the fact that we can talk about these things and we can see them all different ways. But the podcast environment, I think, is a great opportunity. And what you're doing with this is great. And it's something that we're going to continue to use. So that's a tribute to what you're getting accomplished too.
I appreciate that very much, and appreciate your comment the other night. I had talked to one of our friends, and I said, hey, we need to get together on a podcast. He said, I don't know if I can afford it. And Joe says, you can't afford not to do it. So I appreciate that as well. Yeah. So, we might get him on there. I don't know. I don't know what he's going to do. But I think if he does, we got Neil on here, and Neil says, man, it's worth every penny, and that's another deal through you guys that we've hooked up with.
Neil and I are similar in that you can listen to us, but you don't want to see us.
Well, I
said it time and again. I have a face for radio, and he's no different.
Well, I was going to say it the first, and you kept rolling, but we talked to Brad, and Betty was like, Brad, you got to get on there today. And I said, Brad, you got to get on there today. And Brad said, no, I'll just be the good-looking one in the crowd.
He's the pretty face.
To be the pretty face.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
Claire may take a little offense to that, but she'll get over it, I guess.
Eventually.
Maybe she will. But, yeah, what a great crew. What a great sale. What a great customer service. And then, when you get these animals and they're really good, why, bring them back to Doc Horstman, and he'll be at your cervix, right?
There you go. Yes. Yeah. To explain that to you a little bit, there is a sign in his wall that says Dr. Horstman at your cervix.
Right.
So, yeah.
And, we're at a little bit different location, but we could have done this right there on Mackey floor, or what was the floor that was in Mackey. You guys had another signage go on here that they can see at the sale as well.
Yeah. Todd Foster's a good friend and an insurance client, and we went to college together, and he had to come out the other day, so I had him come up and sign the floor, and we get a little wall of fame in there. So he's quite the character, and there's a lot of stories that are even non-basketball related that you'll hear from Todd. So he and his wife are raising some great kids and have some good things going on out there, so it's fun to keep in contact with him. So
right.
And invited him to the sale, and maybe he'll be there. So
right. I guess one other thing with you and your services, we can get insurance for whatever we need through you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I always joke I have apps in the car. Whatever you need. But, no, I've been fortunate enough to be with Indiana Farm Bureaus. I had my 20th anniversary the Tuesday after Memorial Day.
Right.
So been with Farm Bureau a long time and, enjoy it and enjoy working with people. And everybody asks how you get all done at all these places. And, well, I have good people at Horstman Cattle Company. I have great people at Indiana Farm Bureau and Diane Cooley and Joan Sonograth. And, they always joke when they see us out and about. They see Diane. They say, "There's my agent." I said, "Yeah, I'm not going to argue with you." So, yeah. But, no, it's a really good relationship we have there. And, surround yourself with good people, and you can get a lot done. And that's been proven at Horstman Cattle Company and at Farm Bureau. So,
absolutely. Joe, appreciate it very much. Appreciate you hosting us today, and appreciate you agreeing to do the podcast again. And, again, we'll be here October 1st on Saturday night. We'll be here before 6:30. Last year came a rain shower right beforehand, so get up here and look at those things beforehand.
Rainy days and harvest season, those are good days to have a cattle sale.
You're exactly right.
I used to get worried about it, but now I kind of pray for rain. And everyone has to farm and keep busy. But, again, plan ahead. 65 is somewhat torturous. We had some people that just didn't even make it to the sale last year.
Right.
Had to give up. And so plan ahead. 65 can be tough at times. And, again, if that exit is closed, just proceed north. And if you're coming from the north, get off there at 188 instead of 178. And you'll be able to find our farm no problem whatsoever. So
right. Sounds great. Joe, appreciate it very much.
Appreciate it.
All right. And we want to thank you for listening to another edition of Before the Bid Podcast.